way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fantasy Couch podcast. We're having the craziest year this year by far. We're no longer going to see Tim Boyle for the Jets. Zach Wilson's taking over, but we did just witness Mitchell Trubisky get frisky, almost mess around and get a win. He almost won, almost with the comeback. That was wild. Man, this has just been a crazy year, and QB play has been down, which I guess is not really surprising. A lot of QBs are injured. By the way, I'm joined with the Dynasty Day Trader, aka the Tight End Shaman, aka Coach Sush, aka Sushane.
A lot of AKAs.
Yeah, a lot of AKAs. We just add one every time. We just
love it.
Getting more. Yeah, more and more. It is episode number 210. This episode today.
I like it. Okay. All right.
That's a lot of episodes.
It is a lot. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot of episodes. 90% of podcasts quit by the third episode. And after that, the ones that remain, 90% of those quit before the 20th episode. So
we're in the upper 10% here. Okay.
No, the upper 10% of the 10%, which makes us in the 1%. So we are 1%ers. We don't feel rich, though. I don't think we're rich. Wildly,
not quite yet. No.
Podcast is not wildly successful, so it gets me wondering if I'm just determined and just basically, like the best or amongst the best, or this is the definition of insanity because it kept going to episode 210. Regardless, we're here though. Episode 210.
We're here and we're rolling. I love it.
One of the elite podcasters. 5 people have told me that this is their favorite podcast in the whole world. And I believe them. This is true. So if 5 people told me that means there's more out there. So that means a lot. Let's say 10 people, this is their favorite podcast. Maybe it's the only podcast they listen to. It's a possibility. But
I mean, that could be it. But I mean, they might just enjoy the content.
Favorite. Think about that.
That's your
good. Favorite TV channel, and you run the channel. Like you're the one broadcasting from that satellite. That's awesome.
Right. That's how you know.
It's still good. It could still be insanity though. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of insane people have done great things.
You got to keep on trucking along and see where this greatness can take us.
This is the best podcast on the internet. Bears thank the Patriots. I'm actually right now. I'm not in tankathon mode. I don't know what's going on in the tankathon wars. So
I think the Patriots were second, but they won the game.
Right. So bigger separation now for that first place, the first overall pick. That's what's going on, right? Bears are running away with it.
Well, let's see what the Panthers can do. But for now, Bears would be, I think, 2 games ahead, 1 game ahead.
The Bears have the Panthers pick.
Correct, yeah. So let's see how the Panthers.
Oh, well, yeah, Oh, yeah, but the Panthers are the worst team in the league.
Exactly, right.
I don't think they can do much. I don't know.
They can win another game here or there. They got 3 weeks, 4 weeks to do it.
They fired all their coaches. There's no one left to fire. You
Yeah.
can't make any trades. Uh, Good second place to
Basically,
Crime Junkie. That sounds like one of those amazing like true crime podcasts, but that's great. If we're
crime
second
junkie.
on this guy's list, if we're number 2 to like the best true crime podcast, which is I don't know what that is. That's just what I'm guessing. That's still pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So QB play has gone down. By the way, we're going to be talking about MVPs. We're going to be talking a little bit about my leagues. A lot of people every year ask about to update how I'm doing in my leagues. I think it's kind of a boring topic, but it is a good amount of people ask every year. I don't know. I always feel like most people feel like that's a boring topic. But I'll try to answer it like as fast as possible. I will talk about that today, but a lot is riding on this week. So there's not a lot to reveal to you guys. After this week, we'll have a better picture of what's going on with my leagues. And that's kind of a macrocosm. I don't know the right word, but kind of a you guys use the word in a vacuum. In a vacuum, it's kind of what's going on with a lot of people's leagues. I think 99% of leagues out there, there's barely any difference between 5th place and 10th place. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are fighting for a playoff spot. I know a lot of people are eliminated, but just this past week they got eliminated. So it's a rat race. It's pretty close. I think there's a lot of 7-win teams out there, even 6-win teams. I've seen some guys, 6 wins, even a 5-win team might be able to get in playoffs right now with the absolute must win in other scenarios. So a lot of 5-win, 6-win, 7-win, 8-win teams right now are fighting for a playoff spot, including me. It's crazy. I'm in a league. Oh, with you. I'm in a league with you where I'm tanking. I have 5 wins. What the hell? I drafted an incredible team, one of the best teams on the auction league for the subscriber league. 7 wins, not in playoffs currently. I mean, just make it make sense to me.
Fighting for. Okay.
I don't
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in 8th place with 7 wins.
Oh
It's a
my
crazy
God, that's
league. Yeah,
crazy.
it's a
Wow.
crazy league where 8 teams are good and 4 teams are garbage. It's never not in any of my other leagues this is happening. 4 teams have 4 wins or less, and 8 teams have 7 wins or more. And
Wow.
I don't even know what happened. Yeah, like it's great. I mean, I thought I drafted a great team. So
Yeah,
I
so
will.
definitely in 1 week, to your point, you'll have a much better idea of where you stand and what playoffs
Yeah,
you have.
I have to
Yeah.
win, and I don't like in that league. I don't know if I'm going to make playoffs even if I win. We're doing great in the Throne League where we all drafted together as a community. We're fighting for that bye week, the number 2 spot. We're looking really good. We got dunked on for trading away Eckler and Christian Watson for Puka and Pacheco, which seemed like a horrible trade the first week, but
Turns
now
out
things
it's
have
looking
been
good.
crazy with I mean,
Yeah.
I don't believe it to be honest, but it's gotten so bad there for the Los Angeles Chargers that the coach is talking about potential competition for carries there amongst Eckler and Joshua Kelly.
Yeah, he
But
slowed
anyways,
down out of nowhere. But that's what happens to running backs. But
came to an
getting
halt.
Pacheco fresh legs and Puka, who's getting more production than Christian Watson, definitely a surprise win, a pleasantly surprised win in that
Yeah,
one for
Christian
sure.
Watson's a tough one. I'm still a huge believer, but he
Oh
hasn't
yeah,
stayed
absolutely.
healthy.
Yeah.
He's always hurt, and especially on a young team, they're having trouble even building chemistry. I mean, who knows where he'd be right now if he was healthy? Like, I'm still a believer, but I mean, I'd rather take Puka, who's probably flat out better and also healthy. But
Yep,
we're
for
talking
sure.
MVPs. We're talking my leagues, how I'm doing. I have some stuff to reveal about that. And also we'll be doing our weekly dynasty segment. So, guys, I want to ask the live chat. We have some people in the live chat right now. So please, audience participation. Who do you think should win MVP? Just give me a name. You can give me a reason, sure, but just one name. Who should win MVP this year, 2023 NFL MVP. I actually like hate award shows and stuff. They're all politics. Eminem, he has this one line in this song I love from him, and he says, like, I'm never going back to any of your award shows. Don't, did he rap this, by the way? Like, this what's crazy. He's like, don't ever invite me again. You guys invite all the big names, and then you give the award to somebody that nobody's ever heard of, and you just waste my time. And like, it just, the line hits so hard because I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't think he's like a bitter guy. Like, I just feel like that's just the truth. Like, because they want ratings, and then they give it to some awkward person who's never making an album again, and is like, wait, who won this? Why? And they just use their names. It's kind of like me, like pretending like, hey, this is the Eminem podcast or something, right? Or this is the Matthew Berry podcast. Like, I'm taking their name and getting views. That's what the award shows do. They're like, hey, we got all these celebrities, so watch, and then they give it, and then they like give it to somebody who like paid them off or whatever political reason, and it's just a waste of time. But I mean, MVP to me, at least, it is somewhat important. Like, I'm into it because like when you win MVP, you make more money. You're going to be doing State Farm commercials. Like, it's a big deal. Like, to me, like, at least it actually means something. Like, right away, like some people get like more contract money and stuff. Like, if you win Defensive Player of the Year twice, like, I mean, you got to get paid. Like, it just makes sense. Like,
I'm with you.
like
Absolutely.
it's a real thing. There's always like BS in politics, even with these type of awards. But I'm more into this than like who wins some obscure like award show on TV. I feel like those are just way more dumb. But who do you guys think should win MVP? Well, here is my list. I actually made two lists, kind of on accident, kind of on purpose. They're the same, except it's a tie with Dak and Tyreek Hill. Now, Tyreek Hill, I think, is going to win it because he deserves it. Number one, that's my MVP, which is, we should probably just look at this one here, the real list, the real MVP list here. I think he's going to win MVP. I think he is going to break 2,000 receiving yards this season and break Calvin Johnson's record. He's on pace to. He just had a great game against the Commanders. Some people are calling him better than Randy Moss. Wes Welker said that, or the best ever, or second best ever. I don't know. That's kind of tough. People are dismissing Antonio Brown. Probably suffering like crazy CTE and just went on a wrong trajectory and just fell off and, off the field, just, lost it. And, just makes me kind of think like, what if he stayed on the field? He was just one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen play. But Tyreek's up there. He's one of the best. I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. My brain's not there yet to be like, he's here on my all-time greatest list. What do you think?
So when you asked the question, I was thinking, hey, if Tyreek breaks the record, that would be my MVP choice for sure. But
what about the best?
To your point earlier, it's kind of like a politic award. Best ever? Tyreek Hill?
No. I'm talking about the best wide receiver ever. Where do you have him rank? Like, where do you think about him and amongst those ranks of the best ever?
Oh man, I mean that is definitely a conversation to be had. So obviously Jerry Rice is up there. Randy Moss, T.O. My God, I mean he's definitely maybe top 10 for sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, actually,
top 5 even.
Top 10. Top 5.
Top 5. Yeah.
I gotta see the like the career yards and everything like that. I know he's had some insane seasons, but there's also a lot of receivers who have also in the past have had some very, very good careers, long careers as well, productive and sustained productivity. But I would definitely say top 10. Top 10 is a lock, possibly top 5.
Producer Drew says number 1, Jerry Rice. He's got his list ready. Number 2, Randy Moss. Number 3, T.O. Number 4, Calvin Johnson. Number 5, Tyreek. Yeah, I think that's a good list. That's a pretty good list. But I'm gonna put Antonio Brown up there. Like, just because we don't like what happened at the end, I don't think should take away from how incredible he was
Yeah, I was
and
thinking his name as well.
what he did.
Um,
Yeah, I would rather have a sane Antonio Brown over T.O. I think he was that good. He reminded me a lot of Jerry Rice. So I don't know. I think he was the next thing closest to that. I mean, obviously, you should consider what happened towards the end of his career as well. Like that, that goes into
that's
it.
part of it, sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, he had a lot of issues. Then he came back, and then he took off his shirt and ran off, and like that. It was ridiculous. Anyway, Tyreek Hill on trajectory to break the 2K mark to get the record. If he does, he's my MVP. QB play has gone
same.
way down. So it's like there's not a big difference to me between Dak, Brock, and Jalen Hurts. Even Tua up there. These other guys really, I don't think really belong in the conversation. Some people have said CJ Stroud. And I was going to talk about other awards, but they're so obvious. It's CJ Stroud, and then there's like 100-mile gap between him and like Jahmyr Gibbs, which is just, I mean, that's like
Crazy.
it's CJ Stroud. Like that's it. Now Tank
Yeah.
Dell got hurt too. So I think so he was up there in the top 4, top 5 combo, I think. And so I guess Puka's up there in the top 3. It doesn't really matter. It is CJ Stroud. Yeah, I was actually just going off the odds, so I think number 2 is Gibbs for some reason. I don't know why. It should be Puka, I think hands down. I
Puka
do
or
agree with you.
Laporta, maybe. Sam
Yeah,
Laporta, the
Laporte,
tight end,
yeah,
could be
which is
breaking some records.
even unheard, less heard of from a tight end. Even
Yeah.
like what Puka's doing is rare, and then for a tight end to do that, it's only been done like twice. Pitts and Ingram. And that's it. Was it Gronk or did Gronk take a year or something? But it's only been done like a couple times.
Yeah, Gronk took a year.
Laporta,
sure.
yeah. So Laporta, I think would be up there. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking for offensive player of the year. Let's just give that to McCaffrey. If Tyreek Hill wins MVP, if Tyreek Hill doesn't win MVP, let's go Tyreek Hill at offensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year is actually exciting, but that one I was going to talk about that one, but I feel like that one's too close. I feel like there's like eight guys who can win it. So Nick Bosa is kind of low, but we got guys like Myles Garrett, Parsons, that guy was it named Deron Bland, who had
Yep.
it was like 6 pick sixes or 5 pick sixes. He's going nuts. So there's just so many names that one's going to be kind of crazy. They don't want to
should
get
be
too much
fun.
into
Okay.
that. Yeah, that one, there's nobody running away with it because everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Like I like Myles Garrett because he's so good against the run too, and I like these guys who are really good against the run. And yeah, there's just no one's running away with it from defensive player of the year. This is what people were saying for MVP. Dak Prescott is my MVP, and he's saying Purdy is basically his MVP 1B. Dak Prescott 1A. Purdy 1B.
I mean, yeah, it's a quarterback's award at the end of the day. So one of these those top 3 that you mentioned, Jalen Hurts as well, could definitely, even Tua, honestly.
CMC should win it, but I'd bet on Dak. He's kind of sound like a Tyreek hater for a guy if he breaks the record to not win MVP.
Sure.
Sounds kind of crazy over CMC. That sounds good. Now CMC for fantasy MVP is a great. I think that's a great debate for sure. Because he is the best running back, and number 2 is not even close. Like not anywhere near as good as CMC. So it's the CMC and then the rest of
not
them.
Close.
Louise says Tyreek M.O. effing Hill. Taco says Dak or CMC. Another Tyreek Hill hater. Okay. Dak. That's why they say MVP rhymes with State Farm commercials. Dak or Purdy, says Travis. Luis says Jerry Rice is the GOAT, wide receiver GOAT.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
Yeah, he agrees with me that Tyreek Hill is better than T.O. I think so. Fits in your top 10? I don't.
Oh
I need.
yeah, Larry
I need
Fitzgerald.
to go to my
Absolutely.
top 10 list. I don't know.
He's
But
top five.
probably.
Yeah, he's probably Tyreek, Larry Fitzgerald. That'd be a good debate right there. He
Tyreek.
is really good.
It's Tyreek.
Well, I don't know. I think you
It's not
gotta
even
do more
close.
research on Larry Fitz. He is
I know Larry
quite
Fitz.
good.
Yeah, I was about to say Larry Fitz is also great at the other stuff, just like in basketball, the stuff that doesn't give you the
Yeah.
stats, like
Hmm.
blocking, being used as an inline tight end. He could have probably been great with Sean McVay, doing all these crazy plays and stuff.
Yeah.
A guy who
Very
doesn't
long
slow
career
down.
too.
Yeah, very long
Hmm.
career. You know, um, I mean, I don't know, dog. I'm taking Tyreek Hill if I had a team right now over Larry Fitzgerald for my offense. I mean,
He's quite dynamic. It's definitely an argument. I think
I don't know. I don't know how
Tyreek
that's
top
even
five. That's definitely
close.
a case to make.
I don't know
I'll
if
do
I
some
don't know
more
how
research
that's
and
even
I'll
close.
drop a comment later.
Because you can't even like triple like they look at how team look at what okay, so Tyreek Hill this year, he's gonna get 2,000 yards. And look at these
Agreed.
defenses aren't even slowing him down, dog. Like it's not
He's
it.
too
Larry
fast.
Fitzgerald
No
was
one can
never
slow him
that
down. Then they
deep.
got the
Okay, but
Achan
I
guy
mean,
as well.
okay, but
Can't
that
beat that speed.
you say that like you counted against him. It's like
I'm not counting against him.
but
No way.
but I'm just saying you can't stop him. But like
You're
Larry
saying top
Fitzgerald.
five all time. I'm saying definitely top 10, maybe top five. I got to do some homework here.
Not talking. I'm
That's
talking
all
about
I'm
the
saying.
him versus Fitz. I in my
Because
offense,
Larry
unless
Fitzgerald would probably be number 5 for me right now. I would think.
that's fine. I'm okay, but I'm just saying Tyreek Hill over Fitz. I don't know where I'm putting Fitz. I'm just saying Tyreek Hill over Fitz. I think the only argument you could make is that you like Larry Fitzgerald's personality more, and for your locker room, you would take a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, who just from the outside seems like a more stand-up guy. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that I think that's your only argument. Like, I mean, better blocker probably, but like as far as Tyreek Hill, I mean, he just destroys teams. They can't defend him. You need to like put 3 people on him. It just totally messes up the whole defense. Like, he's just better. Like what he's doing is crazy. Brown has to be on the top. Oh, Antonio Brown has to be on the top 5.
Oh, Antonio Brown, yeah.
Okay. I was just getting in everyone's MVP vote because I told them to do it. CC in the building. Okay. Where does CMC rank on the all-time RB list? Top 5. Top
Yeah,
5.
for sure.
We have a group text where we talked about this briefly, but top 5 amongst the best in the world. LT, Adrian Peterson, Sweetness, Barry Sanders, Jim Brown. CMC's right up there. At least as good as LT.
Yeah. Top 5 right there. Right there with all those
Top
guys.
5 or top 6. I don't know. The rank, I don't have these rankings exactly, but whether he's number 4, number 1, number 6, I don't know, but he's right around there. He's really good.
Adrian Peterson's up there too, but I think I would take McCaffrey over now. I don't know. That's another
Yeah,
one where I got to do the homework,
it's hard to compare eras too. That was when it was
Yeah.
acceptable to not be able to catch still with Adrian Peterson. And then when Adrian Peterson retired, it was unacceptable. Like every RB has to catch or else you're not even going to get paid. Like it is what it is. Emmitt Smith, best RB all time. Probably not. He has the longest career. I don't know. Emmitt Smith. Best RB all time. This is a Cowboys fan, by the way, who's saying this. I don't think anybody else would say best RB all time. It's just because he was in the league for like 22 years, so he's gonna have a lot of stats. He's just been one of those RBs who doesn't get hurt and played till he was 40, which is just crazy. Yes, Mike Evans did hit 10 straight seasons. His first 10 years hitting 1K. So he's probably going in the Hall of Fame.
What a crazy feat for not having any quarterbacks. It's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, the Bucs teams were not that great. They didn't really have a lot going for them. He did it with guys Josh Freeman.
Josh Freeman, Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask.
There was some other ones before, like around when he was young that we're not gonna. Mike Glennon.
Oh God.
Was Mike Glennon his quarterback for a year? Now that guy's really trash.
Terrible. He's awful.
Like that's how you name Jameis Winston. He's awesome except for the picks. He blew games. But he threw 5,000 yards. He was, I liked him in fantasy. The greatest tight ends of all time. Well, Sushane's a tight end coach, so he'll probably have some idea of this. But tight end is a very tough thing. That's the position that changes the most. Back then, tight end didn't mean the same as it meant. Just it kept changing and then changing and changing. I don't know the best. We talked about this a little bit with Shannon Sharp, right? He's up there.
Yep, Sharp is up there.
Kelsey.
Gronk.
Tony Gonzalez. Kittle. Because this, we stopped talking about Larry Fitzgerald, but I saw the comment you wrote, Louise, which says the intangible. This is like the intangible position. This is the position where if you're doing all the other things really good, I mean, that's just even more expected as a tight end, I guess, because you're not a receiver. You're not running routes every play.
Right. It's more than just a receiver position. I feel you. Okay.
You're doing a lot of different things, and you're expected to. So, like, you're expected to play fullback. You're expected to play offensive line.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham. Yeah.
It's another good one for sure. Jimmy Graham.
He's definitely boxed in as a receiving tight end, but he was great as a receiver. He just caught a touchdown last week.
Throwback Jimmy Graham. I saw that.
Caught a touchdown, which is nuts. No
on the
way.
Saints too.
Bro,
super throwback.
Caught a touchdown on the Saints. Nuts.
Yeah.
Obviously Tony Gonzalez probably could be the best tight end ever.
Yep. The Chargers guys, Kellen Winslow, Antonio Gates come to mind, and that's really about it. That's where the list kind of ends.
Yeah. I did do it. I did do a TikTok, which people talked about for months. The tight end Mount Rush. You don't remember? You were talking. It was a long time. It was like before the season started. Yeah. You did a Rushmore for like kind of dynasty tight ends.
Yep.
The new guys like prospects and rookies and soft like guys just coming in the league. And then I did one of the all time. And just a lot of people got pissed. But hey, I can only pick 4 players. Like obviously, I'm going to leave out like 2 guys. So, which I left out Antonio Gates and a lot of people. That was the one. That was the number one pissed off. Because to me, Tony Gonzalez is Antonio Gates just far superior. That's just how I see it. So I'm just like, well, I'm gonna go Tony Gonzalez. Jason Witten, not in the top 5. Not in my
definitely not
6.
top 5. Not top 5.
Because I even feel like when he's playing, I never thought he was the best tight end. He could be like the second best tight end during his career. Because during that time, you still had Tony Gonzalez during most of his career. It was more of the Falcons, Tony Gonzalez, I think. You still had Gates, I never felt like one year he was the absolute best tight end. He could have been, but I mean, I just felt like, it's probably the second best or 5th best or 3rd best. So, I don't know. Like when I see Tony G or Kelsey, I'm like, oh, that's the best. What about Kittle, though? Could you put Kittle because of all the other stuff? Debo Samuel's touchdown. Did you see that? I was going to show you that. I just felt like you saw it and then I forgot. I was going to show you that touchdown though. And I forgot. And because in my mind, I was like, oh, he probably already saw this. And then I forgot to show you on one of his touchdowns. You see Kittle with the double block.
I did not. No, missed
You
that.
see with Brandon. Oh, bro, it's
I gotta see that. Send it to me later. For
two
sure.
blocks. Two
That's
blocks
crazy.
to spring it deep. I mean, it's from Kittle. It's like it's expected, but he's still doing it. You know, he's like what 29,
Yeah.
30. Like, I mean, he's still doing it. Like, it was great. It was great. I mean, like, yeah.
He definitely locked for top 10, or at least at minimum in the conversation for top 10. Top 5, I don't think.
Probably not. No,
Yeah,
maybe not even
just
top
because, like,
6.
just because the quality of those guys is so much higher. But it's not that Kittle is a bad player or like bad compared to them. It's just those guys are so much better, either more well-rounded, or in the case of like a Tony Gonzalez, there's like a better receiving skill set. Gronkowski pretty much is like a Kittle but a larger guy and has the Super Bowls as well, and of course the receiving accolades. So yeah, I mean Kittle top 10 for sure, but top 5 is tough, very tough.
I'm trying
But
to
I mean,
find
hey, who knows?
that.
He still got time. That's the beauty with George Kittle. His career is not over yet. He's not done yet. So he's got some time. So we'll see.
I think I may have found it. No, this is the second touchdown where Kittle is blocking, but just not the Drew, can you find that? I think it's his third touchdown. Nope. Drew, it's Debo's first touchdown. Find it on like Twitter's a good place for it. Let me see. I'm finding because because the man scored 3 times, so Shane, so it's hard to
Right,
find.
yeah.
I found his other
That I
two.
did see on Sleeper.
So I think it's his first touchdown. This is Twitter, and the Niners scored 6 touchdowns. It's hard. It's hard. 3 touchdowns by Debo and 6 touchdowns by the Niners. I mean, it's so hard to find it.
It's difficult to find touchdowns from last week, man. You must
Bro,
be
they went so hard. They went nuts. Niners going crazy. Vernon, don't say his name. Like Vernon Davis was good for a period, like really
Come
good. But I
on,
mean,
dude.
like
Vernon
we're
Davis.
talking about all time. That's like me saying it's like me talking about like Ramondre Stevenson. We're talking about all time RBs. Like he's pretty good, but like all time Vernon
all
Davis.
Time, nah.
Vernon Davis' story is better when he was an absolute bust. We had enough time to fully label him a bust, and then what Coach Singletary said, take a shower. And then he gave his speech, that viral speech. And then all of a sudden, Vernon Davis he got a captain badge and played very well. He hated to block. He was blocking great, though. Everything. He was playing with passion. He was blocking. He was catching. He was a miss. Okay.
Touchdowns. Oh, yeah.
Actually, one thing that's very interesting with the Vernon saga was talk to my buddy, R.I.P. Jameezy. I made the 49er anthem song with, and he's a huge Niner fan. Obviously, we made a 49ers song, and he was telling me about Delaney Walker, and I'm like, bro, just stop. I'm like, it's Vernon Davis all day. He's like, dude, Delaney Walker. I was like, he averages 2 catches a game max. Like but he was right. He was like, Delaney Walker is the mismatch guy because he is super big, super athletic. And then we finally and they were both on the same team, Delaney Walker, Vernon Davis. So Vernon Davis can run so much faster. He was just the main guy, and that was the star player. But we saw Delaney Walker when he went to the Titans, he became a star as well. And he was a really good fantasy asset, and he was often their number 1 receiver for the Titans for a couple years. And so that was a cool thing. I wish we used Delaney Walker more. He was kind of like Jameezy was saying, he was kind of like the read guy. We split Delaney Walker out and see, what's going on. Who's the linebacker covering, what's going on. And that way we decide whether we run or pass, because he just told us everything, and we got 2 tight ends. But I wish we used them a little bit more. I think the Niners could have really, just look, Vernon Davis in his prime and Delaney Walker. I think we could have done a lot more with that, because that's a dream. That could have been the best 2 tight ends.
Sounds great on paper for sure.
Yeah, but Delaney Walker didn't do much. He was only a guy they split out just to get a read, and then they, run the ball with Frank Gore or, throw the ball to somebody else. But that could have been really good. That could have been a little bit more like a Gronk, Aaron Hernandez thing. But in this case, probably two like really athletic. I mean, I didn't even know Delaney Walker was athletic till he went to the tight ends. Like, I just didn't pay attention.
Wasn't really a name. Didn't make a name for himself until he was going there. So I'm with you. Would have been cool, but oh well.
Okay, we do have a video. Drew put me on one of these sites that's probably going to play a commercial. Like, oh no, it's not. All right, hold on.
Oh, the Kittle touchdown creating block.
Okay, it's no commercials. We don't need sound. You know what? Let's get a little sound action. Oh, all right. We'll just play it on here. We'll get some sound. We'll get sound, guys. Let's get some sound.
I'm excited for this.
Fake it to him. It's Samuel on the end around. Has a block. Samuel sprinting towards the end zone.
Okay, Kittle. Let's watch this one more time.
But
let's go. Watch what it does.
Okay, hopefully we'll see it here.
Watch him just run right up
Kittle.
the field.
I was impressed.
Watch him. That allows Kittle to be the extra escort blocker.
There, yeah, that's good enough for me right there.
George Kittle.
Yeah, dude.
Oh baby.
Yeah.
That's just too good. That is just too good, man.
He's
functional
great.
blocker.
What can you say? So yeah, we just watched the video. Debo Samuel's. I don't know if that was his first touchdown. I think it was. And then George Kittle blocking 2 Eagles players. Oh my God. Beautiful.
Love to see that.
Beautiful.
He's gonna have a huge game. I'm hoping as far as like fantasy, I mean as well. It's time now. Good blocking is rewarded with a big game.
Yeah.
So any moment.
He's great. He's definitely, I think, up there in the all-time, but like you were saying, top 10, top 10.
Yeah, top 10.
Somewhere in there, which I think is very respectful. I think that's great.
As far as fantasy goes, he's having a great year too. I think he's the 5th best, 4th best tight end, something like that. He's up
good.
there.
He is very up and down, which, I think you should know that by now.
Oh, yeah, of course.
George Kittle, tight end 4. That's very impressive.
Tight end 4.
Very good. He was mostly being drafted as the 5th tight end behind Waller, but right around there. So, which is still great. There's a lot of busts and injuries this year. So I think if you drafted him as the 4th tight end off the board, I think you should be happy. And the 5th tight end off the board, which in most cases, I think you should be very happy. Unfortunately, me, you know me, I drafted TJ Hawkinson in every league. So, I gotta worry. I got one thing right.
I took your advice, and I'm smiling with you.
All right, we're moving on. I did actually. Okay, before the dynasty segment, I did want to talk about my leagues really quick. So, it's the same story as started out in this podcast. I'll come back next week. I am eliminated in a couple leagues. I did lock down a couple leagues. The rest, we'll see if I make it or not after this week. It's really in flux. Like it's real. I'm really like right on that edge. I'm in 8th place. I'm in 5th place. I'm in 6th place. I truly don't know what's going to happen. But I did want to talk about my best ball teams, and best ball is something I have never truly mastered. Like, I won a few huge tournaments on DraftKings, redraft. I'm getting the hang of dynasty. I'm really liking it. At least I feel like I got a good grasp on dynasty. It's more so knowing. I think I got a good grasp on it. At least the idea. It's more of just executing in my specific leagues and winning. But best ball is something that I think I'm pretty good at, but never really conquered. I've never taken down a big best ball tournament. Even when I played like in normal leagues, I've come in 2nd place a lot. So I don't really know if I finished 1st place really too much or ever in a season-long best ball tournament. So I was actually really focused on improving that. Just like an athlete, you're like, okay, I'm going to work on my free throws, or I'm going to work on my blocking or pass pro, like whatever
Yeah,
it is,
some
I'm going to
skill,
work
some
on
aspect.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I'm going to work on it. And I max entried into the drafters tournament. Didn't work out well. $3,000 investment, and I am losing half of it. And I'm perplexed. I don't think anybody in the world drafted Puka Nacua as much as me. And it's just, I really got to chop it up as bad luck. Like I'm pretty hard on myself, and I think I'm pretty good at assessing myself. And I think I'm starting to really get the hang. I feel like I'm mastering best ball, but it's really not showing it. I mean, I'm taking like really big L here. It's quite surprising. Bro,
That's crazy that you
$3,000
have
invest.
Puka.
I'm losing half my money. Dude, it's not
With
even
Puka.
that. I don't want to show any of my personal info. I'm going to show you guys my ownership percentages. It's called player exposure. Most people know what this is. I'm not joking. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Look at this. My most drafted player is Puka Nacua. I drafted him in 39% of drafts 67 times. I mean, if you want to put a money, like how much in entry fees did I spend on him? $1,500. Bro, most people don't even enter it anywhere near that much money in best ball. Like that's psycho numbers. Like if someone told you they spent $1,500 in best ball entries, you'd be like, "Oh, you're pretty crazy. Like you go kind of hard, huh?" Dude, I spent that just on Puka entries. Like only. Like it's crazy, and I'm losing, and it's awful. I mean, yeah, I know some of these other guys are totally embarrassing. That's definitely one reason. But I mean, some of my best ball leagues, there's a point of me talking about all this, by the way. I'm getting to a point. It's not just people asking me how am I doing in my leagues, how am I doing on drafters. I mean, some leagues, dude, some of these entries, I've scored as zeros multiple weeks in RBs and tight ends. So I've had back-to-back weeks where all my tight ends combined for 0 and all my RBs combined from 0. So like one of them, I was on the cusp of winning it. It was a high stakes one, $250 entry, right on the cusp of getting in the money. And then that happened. I'm talking about guys like A-Chain injury, Roshan Johnson injury, Evan Hall injury, Fryer Muth injury, Gesicki bust. I admit that. That's totally on me. And a Waller injury. I mean, I drafted 3 tight ends. Like, you figure one of them would stay healthy. My God, like it was crazy. I forgot the other RBs I had, but literally every one of these RBs got a 0. And it's just like, I'm like, what is like, this is my luck. My QB's good. Like Lamar, Howell, QBs are good. Wide receivers good. Puka, Keenan, like guys like it put wide receivers killing it, but you can't overcome that in a tournament. Like this is no way. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm this is what I'm saying. Like I'm good at assessing myself. I think I'm very hard on myself. Like I try to look at stuff, because that's how I'm gonna improve. I'm trying to be the best or like great. I'm trying. So like, what am I gonna do? Just I'm not the type of guy who has a big ego. Be like, oh, I'm the best. I'm the best. No, I got to put in the work. I got to prove it to myself. And I think this year, like I really think it was clicking for me. But look at how this year's going. Absolute garbage, bro. It's so crazy. Some people in our Discord, I'm proud of them. They're doing well in some of these tournaments. But I mean, look, man, the secret to your guys' success, you didn't draft a bunch of injured players. I mean, there's just there's no way around it. Like, like you guys did well, but I would say that would be the number one strategy that you hit. That's the reason you're succeeding. Draft a bunch of injured players. You drafted a good player, so there's skill there, but that's it. So there was this thing. You entered this too. Now we're going to switch to another website, Banana Best.
Yes.
SBS.
Yes.
So this came out a couple years ago as more of a traditional league. That's just luck, not skill. Yes, but they also I want to also give them props as they did also draft good players. Like it wasn't total, they also did draft good players. These are the captains I'm talking about, Sully and Smoes. They also did draft good players, but yeah, and they also got lucky that they didn't get injured. Like both things had to happen. Like I looked at their teams. There was definitely some skill involved for sure. They just didn't have every single RB and two of their tight ends get injured all at the same time. Which is good to them because
rotten luck right there.
So these guys started this thing. So it's NFTs. You get a random card, and it was a tournament, but it was a redraft tournament. You get to start, sit, and it went off of teams. So you got to start like the Chiefs quarterback or the Dolphins wide receiver or something. And I liked it, and that was fun. And that was like 3 years ago, whatever. Now it's been 3 years ago. This past year, though, to generate more profit, they came up with a new idea to try something very similar for best ball, but with a draft, a snake draft, just like Underdog, just like Drafters, and to add more depth so you can draft the Dolphins wide receiver 2, or you can draft the Texans RB 2. The rest are just regular. So you draft the quarterback, tight end, defense, and then you draft either the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver, number 1, number 2 RB. And I've had a lot of success so far. There's still a week to go, but I've had tremendous success in this one. It's looking great. And, that's why, one of the things I think I am getting much better at best ball. I do enjoy the format. I think you guys should try it more. And I really like this format. So when I initially thought of that, I liked the idea of the players and teams. So I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it nor hate it. So I was like, oh, they're just doing this because so they don't have to get the players' pictures, their likeness, and they don't have to keep updating. It's like an easy way around it, just to do with the team and the position. Like they don't have to update them. They don't have to buy the feed of the players. They don't have to put the picture of them. They don't even have to have any type of NFL affiliation or permission. Because they just be like KCQB. Like you can say, oh, that's anything. But when they came out with this for best ball, it introduced a whole new corkscrew. And I was like, dude, this is a totally new game. It's a new strategy. I really like this. And in a year like this, where there's so many injuries, it was actually really cool to where when you did draft Minnesota wide receiver 1, your season actually wasn't over because there was 1 week where Jordan Addison scored 30 points and people were going crazy.
Yep.
On Drafters, if you took Justin Jefferson, there's no way around this, by the way. Like, this is a fact. Because we're playing a tournament. We're not trying to just beat one person 1 week. We're playing a tournament. If you drafted Justin Jefferson, your season ended right away. If you drafted Jamar Chase, I think your season ended. Like, it was just I drafted Nick Chubb, season ended. Bijan, season ended. Like, it's just Eckler, season ended. Like, if you didn't draft CMC or Tyreek Hill in the first round, your season was over, and it's done. Like, that's what I'm experiencing on Drafters. But on this format, you keep going. I think one of my top cards. Let me see. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to find it. But one of my top cards was so good. It had I think it has Anthony Richardson in it.
Oh my Lord.
And that's what, but it's doing great because it's not Anthony Richardson, it's Indy QB.
It's Gardner Minshew now. Hey,
yeah, which
there you go.
This card is killing it right now, dude. It's Green Bay. So I punted quarterback, right? So I got Green Bay quarterback, Colts QB. I punted to complete. It's a 10-team draft. So if you can tell, I completely punted. Nobody wanted these guys. I completely punted QB. Rest of the team is Fuego. I got the Patriots RB1, Bucks RB1, Rams RB1, Jets RB1. That's it. Didn't even go deep with it. Wide receivers, Patriots wide receiver 1. Kind of kind of whack. The rest are fire though. Don't you worry. Dolphins wide receiver 1. That's the
Not
best in
whack.
the game. Jags wide receiver 1. That gets it done
Very
because
good. Very good.
sometimes it's Parker Washington. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's Calvin Ridley for 4 times. Sometimes it's Christian Kirk for like 5 weeks. He's
Oh,
balling
yeah.
out. And of course, I mean, this one is just
This
kind of the
last
home
one's
run.
amazing.
Texans wide receiver. This is just one of my good cards. I don't even know, like, is this? I don't think this is my. I don't know what card, but it's just a good card. Patriots tight end. Ooh, hit or miss. You know that. I mean, I got lucky today, but hit or miss. But Colts tight end, that sucks. But hey, you know, I went with 3 tight ends, which is almost nobody does that, right? Cowboys tight end. So kind of about like, you know, Cowboys tight end does pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Defense, Dolphins defense, Ravens defense. That's pretty
Ooh,
good.
there you go. Good.
So
that works.
You know, I really like this format, man, and I think I'm doing very well. So we'll see if I win first place in this. I'm really happy with where I'm standing in this. Just to sum it up, how good I'm doing. I don't know the exact numbers, so I like to be exact. But if I had to guess, I'm in 46 leagues, and the top 2 in each league advance to playoffs. And I am in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of them are headed to playoffs, which is a really good number. But I got a ton now in third place that can, you know, potentially make it into second place. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So we'll see. You know, I'm trying to get over 15 teams into playoffs, and I'll hopefully win. How many did you do?
Best
2 of these?
Luck. I did 2 or 3. I have to check on how they're doing, but I did not pick any of those Houston guys. I checked like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. It's been a minute.
How was it looking?
It was looking all right. I was like 5th in one, 6th in the other, something like that. But it was, I think one of them got injured. But again, QB1.
There's no injuries.
There's no injuries. Yeah.
What are you talking?
That's the thing.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. What? There's been a couple probably big injuries that would be hard to overcome, but I don't know. Most of these injuries have like Burrow. He was just a bust anyway, so it was really not that big of a difference.
Yeah, I don't think I had Cincy quarterback. I'm trying to think who I had. I think it was Minnesota, but I had Josh Dobbs for a little bit then. He got inserted with Cousins.
So I mean, like,
so either way, that would have worked out then. Yeah,
yeah.
So I should check again, see what's going on there.
You got to be top 2. That's the thing. You got to be top 2 to advance. But that's what's going on. Oh, how many did you draft, Luis? You guys got to check, man. This is fun. I don't check a lot, but no, it's a lot. It
was a really fun draft. I'll tell you that. One of the more fun formats that I've ever done.
Extremely challenging to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it was to you, but it was because we never done this. Like, it's the first time we've ever drafted without names. Like, you drafted.
Yeah, you literally just draft
positions.
Like Jacksonville, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1. Like, it's crazy.
I think the worst possible draft pick, which is what I was telling everybody that asked me, the loser, the league loser. Everyone likes to do league winners. There's league losers out there. Like, who's a league loser? Like Mahomes this year, I guess.
Yeah. Burrow.
Oh yeah,
Eckler.
Definitely.
Austin Eckler for sure.
Eckler's a league loser. Yeah. So in this format, I think the number 1 league loser, because they went so early, Dolphins wide receiver 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bro, they were going like top 5 wide receivers.
I remember that too. Mm-hmm.
I was like, these guys are nuts. Yeah, no, last year, like Waddle and Tyreek, they were, a great duo. Tyreek Hill would get like wide receiver 2, wide receiver, something like that. Waddle will be wide receiver 11 some weeks. Like, that was cool. A couple weeks, Waddle will outscore Tyreek Hill. It's not anywhere near that. And what I did, I just waited 6 more rounds and I drafted the Colts and Texans wide receiver 1. And that worked out a lot
in a
better.
big way. Oh my God.
Oh, how could we forget the number one league loser of the year, T. Higgins, which
Oh
is
yeah.
one of the biggest
Given the
league
cost.
losers in this format, because some people did draft Cincy wide receiver 2 well before Colts wide receiver 1, Texans wide receiver 1, all those guys. Even New England wide receiver 1, who's I picked quite a few times and was horrible. I think he's doing better than Cincinnati wide receiver 2, because that
Wow.
was a huge mistake people made. Huge,
Yeah, that's just a bad
huge
pick. Oh
mistake.
boy.
Yeah, so nah, bro. I absolutely love this format. It was so much fun, and it just, because I had to use a different part of my brain. I love the challenging strategy. It was so crazy. Absolutely loved it. I hope they have it next year's. I'm definitely playing. Once I started doing them, I couldn't stop, man. I was like, I'm going crazy.
Same.
As
If it's on next year, let me know.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun, because when there's a tournament with like 250,000 people, like, you're not gonna win. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like,
yeah, it's just for fun, and then
you're
you
just not gonna
run into something
win.
lucky, maybe.
You're not gonna win, dude. But
No.
when there's, how many's in here? Like 1,500 people. You got a shot. Like, the prize isn't as big. You're not gonna win $1 million, but you got a shot. Like, you can win
Less people to
1,000.
beat.
You can win 5,000. Oh yeah, big. Like, it's totally different. All right. Well, enough talk about that. I just, I found it very interesting, and I try to be very honest, and give you guys a true, honest update about my thoughts and where I'm at in my leagues. And even told you guys that I was like, meh, these guys aren't doing the players, probably just to make things easier on them. But once they did that with the best ball, I was like, bro, this is awesome. And I mean, there's got to be some bias, but like, I don't know. I kind of like it more than traditional best ball, where all my players are injured. Just look at my best ball. It's so depressing, bro. There's zeros. Here, I'll show you this one team. I don't know. It's fine.
No, I got you. Injuries screw over everyone, but then it's just like this
it's
format.
Fine if people want to make fun of me. This was a $250 entry. Lamar Jackson, Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder.
Okay,
Pretty
okay.
good. Pretty good.
Yeah, very good start so far.
Bijan, okay, bust. James Conner, that's so unlucky. He got injured. He was a great value pick. Okay, Tank Bigsby.
Don't get one healthy.
Sure, I got too cute. Roshan, I mean, he was starting to, a couple games here and there. Not a great pick, not a bad one, but injury. Ty Chandler, I mean, these guys signed Cam Akers. Like, what the heck, dude? Evan Hall, injury. Devontae Adams, I guess that's kind of on me. Amari Cooper, I don't know. Whatever, so. Jahan Dotson, bust pick.
Terrible.
Elijah Moore, low upside pick. Alan Lazard, come on. That's directly related to Aaron Rodgers. But that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
If Aaron Rodgers was healthy, Alan Lazard might not be a bust. KJ Osborne, whatever. Michael Wilson, injury. Oh, here he is. Puka Nacua. Darren Waller, injured. Pat Fryermuth, injured. I guess Hayden Hurst now injured too. It's like, bro, like this is the one where all my, like, 1 week all my RBs got zeros when Bijan was on bye. When Bijan was on bye, all my RBs got literally a zero. I'm not exaggerating. Literally a zero. Crazy. Yeah, literally whatever was week 10, zero. Not even nothing. Not 0.1, nothing. And that same week, all the tight ends got zero. Because if your tight end's hurt, even if one's healthy, if he's on his bye week, that's an automatic zero.
Oh my God, that is
just annoying.
Season right there.
It's almost last place, and it wasn't. This was this was well above an average team in this entry. This entry was well above average. It was right about to make money. I even was making money for a couple minutes, and then it goes down. Like, so I was right there, like almost in the money. So it was like 80th place out of 216. Now it's like 180th place. It's like it's annoying, dude, and it's a lot of money. But I'm number. Producer Drew says I'm number 4 and 6 in my banana leagues. Okay, well you're gonna need a miracle for that number 4 to get to 2. Yeah,
It's possible though. It's possible. Best of luck.
I'm in BBB 102. I'd have to be in that league. Oh, it's the one where I'm in first place. Ooh, buddy. Did you change your name? Yeah, here
There
it
he
is.
is.
Okay, sort by season. Of course, me just killing it. First place. Steelers D, gross. Oh, but I paired them with the Saints D. They're about to go off this week.
There you go. Look at that.
They face the Saints. I mean the Panthers. Yeah, they face the Panthers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So of course I'm in first place. No surprise there. This guy's close to me, but it doesn't matter if I'm just need to be top 2. This guy's really close. You are in 8th place. He drafted Mahomes, league loser. Jets wide receiver 1. That's so bad luck. They don't have Aaron Rodgers killed it.
Wide receivers.
You didn't draft any RBs. That's what's really killing you. Bro, what happened?
Packers RB2. That's not good.
Bro, he got Saints RB1, Seahawks RB1.
Tomorrow's
which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But he has no debt. What do you do like when they're on bye? You have to start Patrick Taylor or something? Like oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? That's it. Like you're getting zeros when they're on bye or have
That's exactly what it is.
Like game.
Yep. Gotta have more depth.
Yeah, drafted Mahomes too early. Tight ends, Falcons tight end, Bills tight end, not great. Rams D, Niners D. Rams D is probably a waste of a pick. Probably could have just drafted anybody else. I drafted from my food truck. Yeah, I know a lot of people. And dude, if this is your first draft, like that is this is insane. Like it's so hard. I've done crazy live streams. I've done 2 drafts at once. I did like high stakes, like beat the brand. I do so many. This was up there with the hardest thing I've ever done. It's so challenging. It's so crazy. You're looking at bye weeks. You're like, should I get this guy or that guy? And there's just so many things to compute. And it goes fast too. 30 seconds a pick, 10 team, goes super fast, limited roster space. What is it? 15 rounds? I think it's 15 rounds.
15, I think.
It's
16.
Quick. You can't overcome huge mistakes typically because if it's 20 rounds, you can do like you can be like, oh, I forgot. Let me just draft the 3rd defense. Or it's 15 rounds, so it's like, oh, I don't have a 3rd running back. Well, that's it. Like you're done.
Oops, it's over then. Yep.
See, it's not just the 30 seconds. A lot of us are used to the 30 seconds, Ozai. It's the 30 seconds with a totally new format on a different, platform, and you're not drafting players. You're drafting some totally different. It's different. It's like
different beast.
He said, just ask my wife. I'm used to 30 seconds.
Classic.
It's like if we were to do a fantasy football draft on Sleep or whatever, just normal, everything you used to. But all of a sudden, the last minute, they change it to some new sport you never heard of, like professional drone racing. You go, oh, crap. So you got to do all this research last second while you're drafting. Like, that's how it feels like. I know it sounds like that example doesn't make sense, but that's how it feels like. Because every time you see, this is hieroglyphics here. We've never drafted KCQB. Like, it's just hieroglyphs. Okay, that's easy. But, like, this guy drafted Green Bay Packers RB2. You know what I mean? That's hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
And this, if you translate the hieroglyphics, that's just a big 0. It's just a goose egg.
Patrick Taylor.
Green Bay RB2 is like the worst. It's like the worst draft pick you could read. It's so bad.
Oh my God.
Paired up with Rams D. Hey, he said to look at it, so I'm gonna make this. We got to make it somewhat entertaining, right? Come on.
I feel you. Yeah, it's not a good team. Better luck next year.
Yeah, he had some hits though. So Packers.
Yeah, good picks in there.
Saints RB1 is a killer pick.
Huge.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide receivers. That kills you. Instead of all these wide receivers, if you just
And
drafted
none of them
one
are
more
good. Like
RB,
Browns wide receiver 2. What are you doing? Oh my
yeah,
god.
that's a waste of a pick. Yeah, Falcons wide receiver 1, bro.
Arthur Smith, baby.
They don't use anybody. I don't even know what they do on offense. I don't even know how they win games. It just doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
I don't even know, dude. I don't know who gets the ball. Cordell Patterson, maybe.
It's just such a
What do
weird
they gotta do?
offense. Because even bad teams have like fantasy relevant players like Chuba Hubbard. But the Falcons, I feel like there's nobody on the team. Isaiah Hodges, Mac Hollins, I don't even know, dude. Van Jefferson, Jonnu
Van
Smith.
Jefferson. Oh my god. They're
Yeah,
giving it to
drafted.
everyone but the guys that we need.
Yeah, but the
Something else.
guys we drafted. I
Unbelievable.
mean, bye weeks only matter for QB and tight end in best ball. No, definitely. How about if you? How about it? Look at how could you even say that while we're looking at this? So I mean, you're talking about traditional best. Imagine if all 3 of these guys had the same bye week. He drafted 3 running backs. If all 3 had the same bye week, obviously it would matter. Yeah, it's basically the season's done. Obviously it matters, bro. Now it matters a lot more for those positions, and also in standard. When you do a normal draft, this is what I tell people forget best ball. Doing a normal draft, a lot of beginners ask me this. This is my first draft. I'm like, they're like, what about bye weeks? I'm like, look, don't worry about bye weeks at all. Now, if you draft a backup tight end or a backup QB, it's a good idea to look. So ideally, you don't want to have the same bye week. But I mean, even in that case, it doesn't matter. In best ball, it'll just kill your whole team. You can't draft a QB with the same bye week or defense with the same bye week or tight end. But no, it does matter because if you have 3 wide receivers with the same bye week, that hurts, man. Like it really hurts. Yeah. No, same thing. I was just exaggerating. Yeah. But we already know your Green Bay Packers RB2 is going to be a 0 regardless. That one. Yeah.
It's no good. It's no good. It's a bust.
Yeah. Oh, they roasted me. Browns wide receiver 2 is a waste of a pick. Elijah Moore, 3rd most drafted player. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm losing.
Yeah.
That's one of the big reasons I'm losing on drafters for drafting guys like Cam Akers and Elijah Moore. I mean, it's all transparent. I showed it to you guys. It's the truth. It's the truth. What could I say?
Yep, you saw with your own 2 eyes.
In this format, though,
killing it.
It's more extreme. Because you got to think this is before the season, Elijah Moore, I was thinking, he could be something, right? So I would think Elijah Moore on occasion would be the best wide receiver. So Browns wide receiver 1, theoretically, that's good. Because no matter who that is, they're going to be putting points. But to basically any wide receiver 2 you draft sucks in this format. So you're like, you got me pretty bad. But in this format, any wide receiver 2 is probably just horrible. You probably drafted them way too early. Wide receiver 2s in this format, they need to be like your last pick. Like, oh man, I really need a 4th wide receiver. I really need a 5th wide receiver. I might go get a wide receiver 2. But here's the problem: was a lot of people were drafting a bunch of wide receiver 2s before any wide receivers went, and that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Then again, yeah, I mean, it is definitely one of the reasons why I'm not winning on drafters. Cam Akers, Elijah. I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, you drafted Van Jefferson in a bunch of leagues. So I thought that was a genius draft pick. I was like, oh, that's so smart. Cooper Kupp's always
home
hurt.
run sleeper turned into nothing.
Nothing.
Gas particles.
Hey, I had Tank Dell in some leagues too. I mean, I was like, oh, genius. And then
Puka and Tank. There you go.
Yeah, I've been drafted. So I was going, this was my strategy in round 19, Sushane. Tank Dell or Justin Ross. And I went 50-50.
Oh my God.
This is how you do it. It's round 19. This is how you do it. And I thought it was smart. It's fine. So half of the time I went Tank Dell and the other half I went Justin Ross. It doesn't matter. They both lose.
Oh my God.
It's a lose. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah,
Tank Dell
lose,
obviously
I
much
guess.
better. Like he cracked my lineup several weeks, but those still ain't gonna
Well,
make the money now because too many injuries.
yeah.
This whole year's been a mess.
Now it's yeah, unfortunate, but he was
Oh
great. He was
no,
great.
Drew, a ton of wide receiver twos were there. So Bengals
Yeah,
wide
not
receiver
just
two.
Dolphins.
Bengals wide receiver two drafted stupid early. Chargers wide receiver two
Yep.
drafted early. Just think of where all you got to do is think of where guys go in normal draft. So Mike Williams goes early. T. Higgins goes stupid early. Waddle goes early. Dolphins is the best example, but yeah, definitely Cincy wide receiver two. Man, I can't off the top of my head. I can't think of. I drafted the Bills wide receiver two the very first draft. But
I don't know if that's working
the,
out for you or not. Ugh.
no.
Yeah, no.
No, it's not bad though, because Gabe Davis and Khalil Shakir do well. I mean, some weeks,
Okay.
a lot of weeks that ended up being Diggs on there. So
Oh, I see.
yeah,
It's
no,
not
it
bad
wasn't.
then.
That wasn't
All
that
right.
bad. But that was I was actually the very first best ball draft on the platform ever. And they invited me to live stream, and they're like, "Why aren't you showing the draft board?" I'm like, "Shut up! Like, it's just very hard to concentrate." They're like, "You're not showing the draft board at all." I'm like, "Bro, like, I just walked into a
New
fire pit. Like,
platform, trying to figure this out.
yeah, I'm trying to
Exactly.
draft. Like, I don't even know what's going on." So, I think this will answer your question if I just generally say so. If you pick, so this guy, so this is Louise's team. He picked Steelers wide receiver one. So no matter which wide receiver for the Steelers tonight scored the most points, he would get those points. So if Calvin Austin ran a 99-yard rushing touchdown, that guy would be Calvin Austin. You see what I mean? Because Calvin Austin would get 16 fantasy points, right? Off that play. And
Yeah.
so that would be Calvin Austin. Let's say, Calvin Austin gets 0 points. Deontay Johnson gets 0 points. And, George Pickens gets 20. He would get George Pickens, right? The next week, Deontay Johnson scores a bunch of. Deontay Johnson gets 22 points. He's the highest scoring. You start Deontay Johnson that week. So you're getting the top guy. So although, yeah, you made a good point with the Cleveland wide receiver too, it's way more exaggerated on here because you were expecting, at least I was, Elijah Moore. I was like, is going to be the Browns wide receiver one, like 4 weeks, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that was the hope. Yeah.
So that was, you know what I mean? So that was like, okay, but when you get Cleveland wide receiver two on a team that runs, you're always going to get the worst Cleveland wide
The second
receiver.
best performing receiver. Right.
Yeah, so it's always going to be bad, like no matter what.
Yeah. Not the best strategy. So just want
Let's
to
see.
get
Maybe
those wide receiver ones before at all
let's
times.
see. Deontay was the highest scoring one, right? Yeah. Deontay Johnson, 14.7. No, 14.7 standard PPR. So yeah, so he got 14.7 on here. Yeah, no, there was a ton of wide. I mean, that was the whole every time we talked about this on Twitter Spaces, on Discord, everyone's debate was how freaking stupid you were to draft Patriots wide receiver one, or how stupid you were to draft Dolphins wide receiver two. Like that was every time the debate was to draft a wide receiver two or not. I think it's put to bed. Don't draft a wide receiver
Oh
two.
yeah, easily
It's
put to
such
bed. Come
put to
on,
bed,
man.
especially with the ones that went early, like all bust. Chargers, Bengals, Dolphins, like they killed anyone who drafted those guys, lost 100%. Like you can't overcome that, like because you passed up on all those dope players. You passed up on the Saints RB1, Patriots RB1, Dolphins RB1, Rams RB1. You passed up on so many good Colts wide receiver one, Texans wide receiver one, Texans wide receiver
Yeah.
two is money. Actually, no, only some weeks. Because this past week, I think only Nico Collins did well. I don't think his second wide receiver did that well. But sometimes,
You were
yes.
right.
Yeah, sometimes you're right. But you know, another thing, nobody drafted the Texas wide receiver too. Not in like I don't think I've seen it once. So
Oh no, Houston receiver 1 for sure, but second receiver,
yeah,
no chance.
no, it
No
wasn't.
shot.
It went undrafted. So it's like there was just really. So it doesn't really hurt anyone. It doesn't. You're not really have FOMO over it. Like, oh, I wish I did that. And like I said, most weeks I don't think it was really hitting. Just like any wide receiver too. Most weeks wasn't he like let's take the Seahawks for example. They have 3 great wide receivers. Even if you have Seahawks wide receiver 2, that's not that great because sometimes they're lucky if one of those wide receivers goes off. Isn't
True.
it right?
Yeah.
Like DK went off, nobody else. JSN didn't. I mean, he was like lukewarm. So it's like, okay, you're gonna get 11 points, right? Tyler Lockett 7 points. So it's like
It's so infrequent, basically, for the second receiver, the second best receiver to actually have a good day.
And the
I think
Texans
the Cowboys have done it for a little bit.
Yeah,
Brandon
because Dak's MVP level, like he's playing perfect. He's passing the ball at like a perfect rate. Like it's crazy. He's off the charts with the passing. And I mean Texans was a good example too, but I think it's only like 4 weeks where you have Nico and Tank Dell do well. You know, that happened like 3 times. Or you have Noah Brown and Tank Dell. Or you have Robert Woods 1 week and that. So yeah, it has probably happened 5 times, but that's it. Like, because no matter what, you're getting the second best wide receiver. You know, I've seen sometimes on my cards a second best wide receiver, like on the Bills, let's say Diggs gets 20 and Khalil Shakir gets 24. So that's pretty good. I just got 20 points from my Bills wide receiver too, but that's more of the outlier. Like it usually doesn't happen. Panthers wide receiver 1 is money though. Not the past 3-4 weeks. They don't have any wide receivers playing well. Thielen completely fell off.
Yeah, completely. He was great like the first 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks. That's about it.
Yeah, and then he
not looking good now.
I didn't think we'd get into this combo.
No one else stepped up.
You know what that proves? That this format is very intriguing.
Yeah,
people are already strategizing over it. Like I'm telling you guys, hit me up. Hopefully they'll have it next year. I'll get people in here. I absolutely love it. It was so much fun. Let's get some going. Let's get it going next year. It's just a totally different strategy, totally different game, lots of fun. And another good thing is that you actually got a shot of winning this. It's not you're not going against 200,000, 400,000 people. You're going against like 1,000 people or even your own league. Like all you got to do is finish top 2 in a 10-team league to advance. So I figure if you're able to do that, you got a shot because you're in the playoffs. I'd play this format next year. Yeah, you should. It's a lot of fun, dude.
Come on now.
It's a lot of fun. They know me quite well in that SBS Discord because I'm nuts. As if you guys can see, I drafted 47 teams. Yeah. I went berserk. Only one guy drafted more teams than me. He's doing really well too. He's up there. Oh, it shows the ADPs.
Oh, I see. Very
Let's
nice.
see where dang Jets wide receiver 1. That's sad. Browns RB. Oh my God. The 17th overall pick was the Dolphins wide receiver 2.
17 overall. That's terrible.
Right before Tony Pollard, right before Olave. Dang. Philadelphia. Oh, yeah. Eagles wide receiver 2. So look, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are great. But how rare is it that both of them do it? You see what I mean? Yeah, it's actually extremely rare that both of them go off because Jalen Hurts rushing QB.
Yep.
And he could also, and even Jalen Hurts is having a great throwing day. The touchdown, the big play could be Goddard, could be some random wide receiver, could be Swift. Like, dang. Okay, Bengals wide receiver 2.
Do not draft these WR2s. My God, there's the Bengals at 24.
Rank 24. I forgot about the Eagles. That's even worse. 22 overall.
Yeah. Yikes.
Dang. Yeah, dude. So it's been yeah, those are all league losers. Like I knew this and I went in. Yeah, there you go. This one very early. Chargers wide receiver to 44 overall. Just look at the one pick after it. Washington wide receiver. Oh, that one sucks. My bad. I thought that was RB. But here we go. Bears wide receiver 1. That's got to be
That's a
way
good
better
pick.
than
That's a good pick,
Charge.
DJ
That's
Moore. Yeah.
got to be way worse than Chargers way better than Chargers wide receiver 2. Way better.
Oh yeah, for sure. Chargers
Jags
receiver,
wide receiver 2. Oh my god. That's a waste of a
my
pick. Rank
lord.
50. Niners wide receiver 2, 51.
Okay.
But that's before all these like really good players, before the Seahawks starting RB. Like Seahawks wide receiver 257. All these guys lost.
Yeah. Huh.
Chargers wide receiver 2 was really good at first before Williams' injury. That's probably true. I still think it's a dumb strategy.
Yeah, it's still not going to be profitable because you need 2 receivers to go off that week in order for that to work. And it's just not likely.
What he's saying was technically true, probably just going off memory. But what about what I did? Wait 5 more rounds and take the Colts wide receiver. We haven't even hit the Colts yet. Yeah, what about what I did? Look at what I did. 69 overall, Colts wide receiver 1. Just tell me which one's smarter. Like 25
That's way
picks
better.
ago?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Or I wait till the very end of the draft, pick 108 and take the Texans wide receiver 1. See, that's what I'm saying. So just because you this guy Lots here is coming. Lots finally found one that worked out for a small amount of time until Mike Williams got injured. Like that's the outlier, my friend. And it stopped working after really fast. Or you wait 50 picks. I waited 60 picks later. Bro, that's an eternity. 6 rounds after and drafted the Texans wide receiver. Look at who's after the Texans wide receiver 1. Dolphins
baby.
RB1.
Let's
you
go.
see
That's
the point?
I'm winner right there.
I'm making a point. Yeah, I'm not every like we're talking about targets that one day. I don't know what day it was. I don't think you were on. Smoes was on here talking about like the quality of target. I was like, bro, like there's all gonna be exceptions to the rules. Like, but I was saying targets are money, essentially. That was the whole thing. I was like, and I couldn't I combated him well, but like this was, and he agrees with me, by the way. But I should have said this came in later. I'm like, if you take a tight end who gets 7 targets a game, tight end A, and then a tight end B gets 4 targets a game, which one's going to get you more fantasy points?
I mean, probably the guy with 7. The guy with
probably is not as strong as a word. I'd say dang near anywhere from 90 to 99% of the time, it's going to be tight end A. Like that's the overwhelmingly.
Yeah, the guy with less targets can run into a lucky touchdown, but you want to, like you're banking on the targets. Yeah, you're banking on the stability there for sure.
Yeah, so now you're going more advanced, which actually matters. Now targets in the red zone, more potent. Like
of course,
yeah. So that's also, that's also a real stat. You can look at, are they getting snap for RBs and wide receivers as well? Are they getting snaps within the 10-yard line, within the 5-yard line? Actually, not even red zones. Just that's the catchy term. It's actually within the 10 and within the 5. Do they get snaps? Do they get targets? And then for RBs, do they get snaps? Do they get targets and carries within the 10, within the 5? That's even more important. But I'm telling you, it's dang near 99% of the time. The tight end that gets 7 versus the tight end that gets 4 will score more fantasy points. It's just the way it is. And so with this, it's the same thing. Yes, 99% of the time, taking the wide receiver 1 over a wide receiver 2. Duh, is going to be the smarter choice. When you say it in hindsight, it seemed, but I'm telling you guys, this was obvious. The number one debate.
People were doing this.
People poured hundreds and hundreds of dollars into the Dolphins wide receiver too.
You were
Like
taking him so early, 17
Yeah.
overall. That's nuts. Oh
this
my
isn't
god.
a free thing. This is, and I wasn't that vocal about it because I only told it to my close friends. Like I was, because I'm trying to win. Like so, I love it.
Exactly.
I
Right.
want these guys to do this. Like I'm like I gotta keep entering. Like I got the juice. I got the secret because nobody knows the format. There's no data. They pull data from, theoretically. They pulled date, like some people did that. Some people made charts and graphs, but other than that, like no one's played this before. So it was new, it was fresh. That's
Brand
why I
new
had
to
to
everything.
come in. I didn't even like read the booklet. I just went to it, dude. I just started I was like, whatever. I'm not gonna read the booklet. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna start using the product right away. Like, let's go, hit the ground running.
Yeah.
It was
I don't know,
fun.
man. It was a great format, and I look forward to doing it again in the future, for sure. It was a fun draft.
Josh Palmer or Quentin Johnson?
Oh my god, Chargers receiver
Josh
too,
Palmer.
terrible.
Josh Palmer didn't even have a chance anyway. How many games was he featured? 2.
As if
He got
at the
hurt.
most.
He got injured a long time ago. Yeah, and then Quentin Johnson is Quentin Johnson, just a
Quentin
sad,
Johnson.
terrible bust. Like the worst
My god.
worst draft pick of the NFL draft. My god, he's so garbage. What a loaded draft class last year in fantasy and real life. And these idiots drafted Quentin Johnson.
Quentin Johnson.
Right around pick. Where was it? Was it one pick before?
Well, he was the second receiver taken right after JSN. So I think 21 overall, 22 overall, something like that.
And then the Ravens took Zay Flowers, I think.
Ravens
or
and
Addison.
Vikings. It was like
I don't know, but it was really
quick.
quick. Yeah, it was really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a mistake.
I don't know. That one scared me too because he looked really athletic to me. I guess he's not even that athletic, and compared to NFL speed, it happens a lot.
Athleticism. He looks the part, but he's not playing the part.
He really does. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I hope we don't look like idiots. We always bash QJ on this podcast. He's so athletic. Like, he's got nothing. He really is not that athletic. Like, he's not. I'd rather have one of those quick guys like a Calvin Austin,
Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison.
Those guys really good. I'm talking about like worse guys. I'm trying to name like players that are bad. Like I'd rather have like a gadget player. Because that's the league is like it's working out a lot more. Like a guy who can return, like a return guy.
Parker Washington.
Parker Washington, yeah. I'd rather have that than Quentin Johnson. So QJ went first overall. Drew, where did Jalen Hyatt? No, we hate him too. Bro, we bashed Jalen Hyatt. The only reason we bashed Quentin Johnson more is because he was more highly touted.
Correct.
We were severely doubting Jalen Hyatt.
Not in on any of those guys. Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt. Nope. No, thank you.
We don't have those guys on our dynasty teams. Where did let me just bring it 2023 NFL draft. All right, we're gonna get into the
It was 20, 21, 22, and 23, right? It was 4 back-to-back. I'm pretty sure.
No, it was not. JSN went a little earlier. But the other, I think they went really close. But no, I don't think it was not 4 in a row, if that's what you mean. No.
4 in a row.
It was close. No.
Wait for it.
It was. Oh my god. No way. Dude, I would have bet money on this. Dang. Memory is so stupid. Stupid memory. Dude, I would have bet money on that. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
4 in a row. Quentin Johnson, the second guy there.
Oh my god, these idiots took QJ before these 2 good guys.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy, right? And right after JSN, unbelievable. And the perfect storm to actually do stuff with Mike Williams out, and he's like a Mike Williams type, but Justin Herbert, perfect landing spot. Nothing coming of it. Terrible. pick.
Yeah, he's
what
a
it is, though.
bust, dude. To me, he looks like a little. He looks like a better N'Keal Harry.
Wait, Kevin White? Or is that the wrong direction?
Nah, I like Kevin White more. I think Kevin
There
White
you
had a
go.
ton of upside. Something happened. He always got hurt. It was just one of those crazy careers. He had a ton of upside.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zay Flowers is great, but Jalen Hyatt's not in this That's a different conversation. That's a speed guy who was never like a complete wide receiver, and he drafted a lot later. He probably still went too early. No, he went round 3. I don't remember, but that's a totally different. We're talking about these. These are the first 4 wide receivers drafted, all went in round 1. This is a different topic. Jalen Hyatt is a different category.
Yeah.
It's about these 4 guys.
The round
that's
1
the easy
draftees. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they did go back to back to back to back. So it's only right to compare them. 3 of them are pretty good. These 3 guys are pretty good.
One of these is not like the others.
Dude, I'm such a big JSN and Zay Flowers fan. I feel like they're just so good. And then Addison's doing better than I thought.
They're all great.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, if you take into account that they're rookies, they're all doing incredible. But I'm not even looking at. I'm just looking at them as like young players, like.
Right. Yeah.
But rookies,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt, 5th wide receiver off the board. I thought he went like round 3.
No, that was Jonathan Mingo, 5th wide receiver off the board. Come on. Jonathan Mingo, I think he was 2nd round, 35th overall, maybe.
So. Jalen Hyatt, I got something right. Round 3, pick 10. I think they took him just a little too early. 73rd overall. Yeah, took him a little too early. Just a little bit. All right, let's move on to the dynasty segment. I don't know what happened there. But let's get to it. You take over the show.
All right, let's move it along. You can scroll down. Okay, so we're gonna be talking running backs. We did half of them maybe 2 months ago, if you remember that. We covered some Big Ten names and in the future and whatnot. And we also kind of said that the RB position is, I don't know, kind of dead, dying, not good. Kind of have to make the most of what we are doing here. And unfortunately, Couch, I'm going to start off by saying one of the top RBs is probably going to stay in college.
Oh, no. Well, I don't want him anyway, but...
Yeah. But
hopefully Marvin Harrison doesn't stay in college, because
hopefully Marvin Harrison
ruin my plan. I don't need an RB. Okay.
Right. But an already weak RB class gets even weaker. So I have adjusted those graphs that we always refer to, those bar charts that compare 24, 2025, and 2026.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, again, QBs, receivers, tight ends did not really change. It was just maneuvering the RBs a little bit. And Quinn Ewers, again, another quarterback, 2024. He will be staying in college as well. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So a couple things there, but with that being said, we still have, the same number, I guess, of running backs, which is like 3, 4. But the thing is, the quality of the position, no longer workhorses. What does that mean for fantasy football, timeshares, and whatever? Let's just get right into them, I guess. And, there's probably going to be maybe 4 or 5 more that are not listed, all right, from the 8 that I have here. Okay, let's go over the top 8, though, at least. And I would hope that maybe 2 of these guys become long-term playable assets, if you will. All right. First one here is going to be Braylon Allen, Wisconsin. That's a Big Ten school. I'm hoping that he gets picked round 2. More than likely, could be a round 3 pick, mid round 2. I don't think that Javonte Williams' range is no longer realistic for any of these guys, right? Which is like what? That'll be like the early round 2, like in the 30s, maybe 40s overall. I don't think that's going to be the case for these guys. I think we're hoping that the top guy is, in round 2. There's a good chance that the top guy is not going to be there. And for now, Braylon Allen is my RB1. Very fluid, of course. And as of right now, it's not even a consensus thing, right? Like, if you remember last year, before the draft, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. After the draft, Bijan Robinson 1, Jahmyr Gibbs 2. This year, it's like, I think there's like a group of names that you can just kind of pick who your top guy is.
He weighs 245?
Yeah, he weighs 245. He's a big guy.
That's really, really big for an RB in college.
Yeah, big guy.
I think that's like unheard of. I think Najee Harris. Not Najee Harris. Najee Harris is huge, but Le'Veon Bell, I think, was 230, and he had to lose some weight.
Yeah, so that could be a thing.
245.
Yeah, the speed is definitely one of the things that are going to be talked about with Braylon Allen. Obviously, he's great in between the tackles because he has that frame. He can catch the football as a receiver, receiving back, but that home run speed is going to be questioned a little bit. And that's probably the reason, honestly, Couch, why he's not like a first round or a second round NFL draft talent. Moving on, though, we have Blake Corum, who is one of those physical, kind of bowling ball style running backs. He is the all-time touchdown leader now for Michigan. You see the height weight there, 5'8", 214, which is not, the weight is good. Obviously, 5'8", on the shorter end of that, but obviously, it's clearly like a compact type of guy. I think, the comparisons that are probably going to get thrown out there, and obviously this is not to do with the character, this is just to do with the on-field and kind of the body type, would be the former Ravens running back Ray Rice. Probably the comparison is going to be thrown out there, just like a body makeup and a skill set point of view. He goes to Michigan. That's another Big Ten school, by the way. So Wisconsin, Michigan, we're starting off with a couple back-to-back Big Tens. Then we move on to Florida State. The third one here, his name is Trey Benson, and he looks quite exciting. He's the one who I've watched the least amount of tape on so far, but I'm definitely going to watch more in the coming weeks, months, etc. Heading into the draft, leading into the draft. But he looks quite good, and I'm excited to see what he could bring to the table. And basically, these three guys, Braylon Allen, Blake Corum, Trey Benson, I would say 80% of dynasty managers today, right now, have one of these three guys as their top back. There could be some strays out there that we'll talk about in just a moment here, but it's really the majority is picking one of these three guys and then probably ranking the other two guys 2 and 3. Let's go ahead and address this question real quick. He's asking, so is Trevion Henderson and Jonathan Brooks going back? Jonathan Brooks, I'm not sure of. He's going to be covered in just a second here. I think he's actually next on the list. But he could be going back, which, again, if he does, we will obviously update that. And Trevion Henderson, yes, he not officially official, but, it's basically the writing is on the wall. He is going back to Ohio State. Will not be a part of the 2024 NFL draft or your rookie draft in April. Speaking of Jonathan Brooks, though, so he is another Texas Longhorn, right? We got Bijan Robinson, we got Roschon Johnson. Jonathan Brooks, probably the next guy on the list. He's pretty good, man. He's pretty good. Obviously, what I was going to say with him kind of was just addressed with the comments there. He might not be here, right? Obviously, when I was making this graphic, when I was preparing for this podcast, he was still in the loop. He was still in the mix, but he may be staying in college. He's not sure yet. It's not like a Trevion Henderson thing where like it's definitive. I can take him off, but maybe in a couple of weeks we might get more clarity from the Jonathan Brooks situation. Scroll down to this next one. Bucky Irving out of Oregon. This is an exciting one because he has won me a good amount of money for college, daily fantasy sports, which is fun. When I picked him, he was a freshman. He was like that low sal running back who, in my mind, he was always the most talented runner on the field. But as far as the depth chart goes, he was listed as like 2 or 3. A couple of guys got hurt. He started getting carries, and his salary did not go up. So I was still just hammering on Bucky Irving. And then out of nowhere, I opened the app, and he is the most expensive running back on the slate. I'm like, wow, what happened? This guy, maybe Oregon, kind of came to their senses. Maybe they kind of, figured out, hey, this guy is the most talented, or one of the most talented players that we have on our offense. Let's elevate him and give him the ball more. It looks like that's what happened. As you can see here, the major thing with Bucky Irving is the height weight, 5'10", 194. That seems small. Again, these are not official weights. We will see what happens in the combine if he attends whatever pro day height weight measurements he gets, but could be an undersized guy. Very exciting. Obviously, he's not my favorite player, but he's among my favorites in this draft class just because of, I kind of spotted him early on in his career or in his college career, and he's, just gone up and up and up since then. So those are like 5 right now. There's 3 more. I'll cover them all kind of at once here. It's going to be Will Shipley, Donovan Edwards, and Audric Estime.
Oh, I was on mute really quick. Isaiah Pacheco is the same height. Adds in the way as the last guy, Bucky Irving.
Okay.
He weighs 216 and seems to have that slimmer build as far as RB. Not saying he's too skinny or anything. He's he's a good power runner. But yeah, definitely got to watch that like 200 range, 198 range. It's actually pretty rare, but he's in college, right? So, if it just puts on 7 more pounds, you would consider that quote unquote normal. If he's like 203.
Right.
Yeah, but it's definitely something you want to watch. Not a lot of sub 200 pound guys. Gibbs is probably one.
And Gibbs is, again, like one of those prolific receiving backs. Kind of similar to Bucky Irving, honestly. Bucky Irving is one of those receivery types, but not nearly as talented. All right. So like we're talking like Walmart, Wish.com, like something like that.
199 pounds for Gibbs, 5'9".
Yeah. Sounds about right. 5'10", 194, so even a little bit
was a legit thinner concern. That's why but he's doing well in the league. It's more about Montgomery being there. I think the weight is totally not an issue for Gibbs at all, but it's something that we did talk about as a prospect.
Yep, for sure. So obviously, look, we're saying that it's a weak RB class, and the top guys are not even that great. So the further away you go from the quote unquote best RB1, the top guy in this class, the more kind of problems or the more red flags pop up, or stuff like that. So these last 3 guys here, Will Shipley, Donovan Edwards, Audric Estime, they're all very different running backs as far as what they bring. Different skill sets. Will Shipley, more of like your traditional, like, kind of in between the tackles guy. What's his weakness? Kind of undersized and kind of slow, right? And no one in the country really thinks that he's a 3-down type guy. Maybe he could be like a 2-down guy at best. That's his upside. But again, what does that mean for us in as far as like, long-term building blocks at the RB position. Donovan Edwards is completely the opposite, right? In a lot of backfields nowadays, you have like the whole thunder and lightning concept where you have one kind of like battering ram, power back, and more of a, that's one guy. And then your second guy is like more like a, kind of outside zone or, receivery type running back, third down back, if you will, faster type of guy, right? So you got power and you got speed, power, finesse. Donovan Edwards definitely fits that receiving speed finesse category. Definitely not going to be a guy who can, command the backfield to his own, which is one of the concerns we had with Jahmyr Gibbs. Speaking of him, was that could he be the lone warrior, so to speak, or the lone back in the backfield? And I feel like with Donovan Edwards, again, the talent level a little bit different than Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously not the same, but I feel like as far as what happens to him in the NFL, probably going to be similar, where he gets tied up to a team that has a guy like David Montgomery already in place to kind of complement that as their backfield. And then of course you have Audric Estime as well, another good back. People question, people question whether or not he can be just a 3-down, even a lead back at this point. Honestly, he's had a couple of good seasons with Notre Dame, but again, the major thing is with all three of these guys is they have some holes in their resume that prevents them from being that well-rounded 3-down back. So that's pretty much your top 8. There's going to be more after that. And, a lot of guys in Dynasty are going to say, okay, the running back landscape right now, all the top guys are kind of old. I don't know what to do here. I want to get younger. So let me try to, get some of these 2024 rookie picks and try to take my shot on these running backs. That's definitely one way to do it. If you want to do it, go ahead. What I would do, though, is I would try to get my receivers built up, quarterback set, tight ends, and everything ready to go. And I would try to, maybe take a first-round pick and trade it for a set of, I got a set of 9 running backs here that I'm really targeting, that I see as players that I can build around for multiple years at the running back position couch, not just one, right? Like, if I want this a 1-year type thing, all right, give me Pacheco, give me Rashad White, give me, Brian Robinson, or, even Gus Edwards. I can do the whole 1-year thing, redraft mentality, but in a dynasty league, I want, a couple of years to be stacked up, several years of production here, right? So I got 9 guys that I'm going to highlight, and I would, again, if I'm rebuilding, if I'm looking to compete, not this year's over, looking to play for next year, right? In my off season, rather than going for picks to get running backs in 2024, I would try to trade for guys like, if I can, Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. Obviously, those guys are going to be super expensive. Obviously, with McCaffrey, he's a little bit older. You're going to have to be, more of a complete set team. He's going to have to be one of those final pieces for you. Bijan, however, he's a young back, right? Young back. He's been struggling a little bit, so I don't want to say he's cheap right now, because people are still going to value Bijan Robinson just for the name brand. But, maybe there's a guy who, maybe you can get him for a little bit lower than normal, right? Like 85 cents on the dollar or 90 cents on the dollar, something like that. Again, that's another idea. Travis Etienne, again, another player whose window potentially could be open with this whole Trevor Lawrence injury, but he's also a young player, young running back. This year, he is kind of being used as a workhorse just because they don't have anyone, but I don't know if that changes with a signing or a draft pick in the future. But again, young, very talented running back, good offense. Next two here would be Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. I understand they're older. I understand they have injury issues. I understand with Saquon, the contract is not, the long-term contract is not there. But these guys, they're built differently, so to speak. Hall of Fame caliber material at the running back position. You can throw in Josh Jacobs with that list also. I know he doesn't have the same kind of name, brand, weight, but he's in that same category as far as the production goes. He's every year top 3, top 4, top 5 running back. I understand he does not have that long-term deal just like Saquon Barkley, but again, one of those talented guys, and he's quite young. And then we have a trio of younger backs, Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, and DeAndre Swift. I think Breece Hall is probably the better one of the three just because he can carry more of a workload, and he's got that home run threat. Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, definitely home run threats, definitely can catch the football, but the lack of volume hurts them, at least for, when projecting long-term play. So that's what I would do instead of going after these younger 2024 running backs. It is a tough position to figure out right now. And I'm telling you, whoever can do the best job of navigating running backs is probably going to be winning your league. Just period.
You know who I'd add to this list, but is very risky. It's very risky, but I would rather have this guy than Swift or Jacobs.
Okay.
Maybe Saquon. I don't know. It would be Devon A-Chain because Raheem Mostert is 31, I think. But very risky because he's small. And now we're seeing guys like, I hate to even say it, but Devon A-Chain and Tank Dell are where he was undersized. They both get injured this year. Pretty bad too.
Yeah.
But a guy like Josh Jacobs, though, it's hard to kind of say why won't he fall into the same trap as Zeke, Gurley, and Najee. This big power back that doesn't have a lot of speed could fall off that cliff faster. So it's not necessarily an argument against Jacobs. It's just that I feel like Jacobs has that same risk as A-Chain. I think Jacobs would be cheaper because A-Chain is just so hot, so sexy right now. Sexy is like, you'd have to probably trade a lot for him, but he is way younger, more upside. When you talk about home run threat, every time he steps up to the plate, he hits a grand slam. It's it's just like, what the hell, dude? And so risk reward, you have to, pay a little bit more. But I'd rather have him than DeAndre Swift all of a sudden this year. Maybe he's not injury prone, but one of the most injury prone backs. Again, Mostert too. Mostert, same boat. All of a sudden now he's the most durable back. But before this year, he was literally the most injury prone player in all of fantasy. So I would, probably rather have A-Chain than Jacobs or Swift. I think that's a great, and he's a rookie, and he's on the Dolphins. That's a hot offense, man.
Very fair. I'll say a couple things here. The reason why I have Josh Jacobs at least on this list is, so first of all, one, his production kind of matches what Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley have done in their careers. That's number one, right? He's not valued the same way just because he's not named JT or Saquon. It's kind of weird.
He's one of the cheaper guys on this list. That's a huge plus. Yeah.
So that's one plus here. Number two, I understand the that what you were saying with the power back and he could fall off the cliff quickly. You mentioned guys like Najee Harris. Big difference between Josh Jacobs and Najee Harris. Najee Harris comes into the NFL as an older rookie, Derrick Henry as well, with a lot of carries in college. Josh Jacobs, the opposite.
Yeah, true.
So
He
that's
didn't have
another
any
reason,
carries.
we're talking longevity. We're
Yeah.
talking guys you can build
Zeke
multiple
too,
years.
probably, right? Zeke, I'm sure, was a
Zeke, yep.
huge
Oh, yeah.
workhorse in college.
Huge.
Like, I mean, how could he
Huge.
not be? He's like one of the best RB
Right.
prospects. Yeah.
So those are the two main things for
Definitely.
Josh Jacobs. Also, if you
Yeah.
want to throw in the fact that he's a free agent and could be leaving the crappy Raiders, I mean, that's always a plus. Okay. Devon Achane, definitely like an honorable
Raiders
mention.
are so funny. They get like an awesome interim coach, and the idiot
Who's good
owner
for
goes and
exactly 2
hires.
minutes.
Goes like, nah, let me get this other guy. Let me get some
Nope.
guy's gonna get sued, or some idiot like Josh McDaniels, like one of the worst coaches ever. He should just
Yeah.
he should just get rid of this interim coach and get what's his name? Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Urban
Oh
Meyer.
God, no.
I think
That's
that's
no. Couch. That's how you get to 31 NFL teams in the snap.
Urban Meyer.
Imagine Urban Meyer with that crazy Davis owner. Oh God, that is not a combination
like
you want.
Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow, like bring
That
the
would be
game
the QB
back.
battle.
Bring the game back. Well, I don't know what position they'll be. We don't know if they're going to be playing QB, but bring the whole game back. Like,
It'll be like a 44-year-old Brady with Johnny Manziel and like, I don't know, Jimmy Garoppolo or something. Maybe Drew Bledsoe is like the quarterback's coach. It'll be terrible.
Yes. You're using creativity, bro.
Yeah.
So you get them away. The Raiders are solid now, but hopefully, I feel like the owner smartened up. He got a haircut. He fired Josh McDaniels. We'll see. I mean, everyone deserves a redemption. Yeah, everyone deserves a. Yeah, I give everyone a second chance, man. We'll see.
Third chance maybe for this guy, fourth, fifth. Anyway, so and then as far as Devon Achane goes, that's what we were talking about here. Devon Achane versus Josh Jacobs, why he's on versus off. Definitely an honorable mention. Okay, I know in college the production was there as far as like getting the 20 touches, 22, 23 rushing attempts, carries, whatever. So I mean, he's proven he can do that. Okay. Obviously, the big thing is the size is an issue, and we've seen that already take place with the injuries and whatnot. As far as Mostert goes, what if they could always get another running back, and they're more likely to do that because Achane is not the biggest, prototypical 3-down RB, if you will. And then on top of that, this is probably the weakest point of my argument, but it's still a point nevertheless. On top of that, you do have a lot of mouths to feed. You got Tyreek Hill, who's obviously still balling at the top of his game. Jalen Waddle is also there. He's getting
older, though.
He's getting older. I feel you there, but he's still at the top of his game. So
yeah, but it's not. It doesn't hurt though. That doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah,
that is your weakest argument. It ain't hurting it. It's. You can argue that it helps. And
sure.
Genius head coach. Some people in our Discord,
high-powered
like
offense
him
and very fast.
Yeah, they just take away like, okay, so he's the golden boy, and he's always joking and stuff. I mean, I don't care about his press conferences. As far as offensive genius, could be number one right now in the whole league. I think he deserves that number one rank. I'm a huge Kyle Shanahan fan. He'd probably be number two, but I mean, I don't see how you don't say the smartest offensive coach right now isn't Mike McDaniels, the Dolphins head coach. So I feel like he'll make it work, and Achane will always have that home run threat. But it is risky. It is risky.
Yeah, he seemed at first to be more like a best ball guy, but then I'm kind of realizing, at least this year, that even when Mostert balls out, Achane also still kind of does well.
He's just the best guy. He's just the best.
Now it's been flipped, right?
Producer Drew says Ken Walker honorable mention. Well, I mean, every Seahawks running back's always hurt, so I don't know if you want.
That's one thing, and then also I kind of like Charbonnet, so that eats into the older Ken Walker gets, the more
Charbonnet's
and more Charbonnet will eat.
Charbonnet's look worse than we thought.
Oh,
I'm
that's true
not.
too.
We were never high on him, me and you. We always said he looks okay. We both agreed on that.
Yeah.
And it just, the athleticism, the speed is slower. He looks slower in the NFL. And then he was this amazing power back in
Yeah, he was a
college.
battering
That's why I
ram.
liked him.
Mhm.
He was always he always ran really hard. I was very impressed. I was like, this is the attitude you want in this running back. He doesn't have that in the NFL. He's not as strong against NFL players because these guys are much stronger. The defensive players he's going up against much stronger than the competition.
Yep,
He
better
did
athletes
in college. So I don't know about it, but man, that's my I don't know. Ken Walker. I mean, you might be like if you trade it right now, you could probably get him for cheaper. Because a few weeks ago, people thought Ken Walker could be the best RB in fantasy this year. I think that's worn off.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't see
I
him
don't
as a
like
guy
it.
that I want to trust.
That's
I just
true.
don't like
I
it.
don't want him. I don't want him because I think these Seahawks running backs. That's why I don't touch them. Don't Chargers players are always injured. And we're talking about that in one of in the couch league. Somebody wasn't familiar with Hunter Henry. They said Hunter Henry's a rookie, and I was like, no. I was like, no. I was like,
Not
quite
at
the
all.
opposite. I was like, he was a really good tight end on the Chargers, but always hurt, just like every Charger.
Classic.
Always hurt. And so I'm
Always
very
hurt.
worried about, bro, there's like 5 injured Seahawks running backs the past 2-3 years. It's crazy. Chris Carson messed up neck, had to forced to retire. Ken Walker injured, Charbonnet injured, Kenny McIntosh got injured. Didn't they have an RB last year? Another one got hurt. I forget. Rashad Penny, often injured.
Oh my God, Rashad Penny.
Yeah, he was very injury prone. Now he's
Chris Carson.
Yeah, we already said it. He had to retire. Yeah, he did retire because of
some neck injury or something.
Bro, it's been just. I don't know, but like it happens. Like all of you're talking about literally all their running backs get hurt. Didn't they have to bring back Marshawn Lynch for a little bit?
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, like everyone's getting hurt left and right. It's pretty wild. So I don't know. I'm a little scared of Ken.
Yeah, it's tough out there. You gotta do the best that you can, especially when you're looking at a long-term play for RB. The easy advice is just to go year by year, but sometimes you want to get. I don't want Gus Edwards and guys like Brian Robinson. Like maybe I do want Brian Robinson because he's younger, but I don't want a guy like Gus Edwards and Raheem Mostert on my dynasty team. You know what I mean? Redraft, sign me up. But dynasty, sure, it would be great if I'm competing this year and I have a good team, but in about 200 days or less, these guys are going to be worth absolutely nothing to me, and I want to get them off my roster ASAP, and no one's going to want them.
Why isn't Kamara on here? Because he's going to fall off very soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I would assume,
I would have definitely
another
put Kamara,
year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just
That's
don't
tough,
see.
Though. He's got great PPR value.
They drafted Kendrick Miller, right? And he's not really doing anything. He's kind of got shelved this year. I feel like this is one of those things where, like, either next year or the year after, it's probably Kendrick Miller time, or at least they're going to try to force feed Kendrick Miller and see what they have there. And then Kamara is going to slowly get phased out. He's really good this year in fantasy because of the PPR, the receptions. But if you actually look at, like, what does he look like as a quote unquote football player and whatever, he's horribly inefficient. He's not even getting, he's barely getting like 2 yards a carry, 2 yards a touch or something like that. It's pretty bad. Obviously the blocking up front's not helping him, but he's not really making guys miss like he used to. So it's definitely closer to the end than the beginning for Alvin Kamara. Still very good though. Still very good.
He's got the same vision, just not the same exact like burst.
Yeah, can't move around as quick.
Yeah.
Still catches passes, which is what we need. You know, a negative. Think about this: one pass for a negative 1 yard is 0.9 points. He does that 10 times a game. He's got you 9 points, just like that. And that's how it works. That's his game, which it works. But that's
What
I got for you. Yeah, that's our RB segment. More to come for receiver or for 2024. We're gonna start talking about receivers, and then that'll lead us into the off season, where we can start getting, like kind of like a deep dive into these guys. So that's what I got for you today.
Thank you for the dynasty segment. Anybody have any questions? Get them in now. I don't think there's going to be any questions coming in, but we'll give it one more second. Oh, we had one a long time ago. It was kind of off topic, but we just had thoughts on Jake Ferguson. I guess it was kind of boring. I mean, Jake Ferguson's good. I can't find it. Jake Ferguson's good. He's in a good offense, but nothing. I mean, just it is what it is, right? Top 10 tight end this year, but what about dynasty? I'll ask you anything in dynasty. You have thoughts on?
Yeah. So as far as dynasty goes, he's not an asset that people are going to, covet or value as something like kind of expensive, so to speak. So he's definitely a good buy as far as affordability. He's a younger guy, right? So as far as dynasty, that we like the younger players to build around, which is good. So he's going to last you a lot in your fantasy league. And it's very clear to me that he is, quote unquote, the guy in Dallas as far as the tight ends room goes. Obviously, they have CeeDee Lamb, who's going to demand a lot of the targets, and he's going to be the top option in the passing game for sure. And of course, Brandon Cooks will have his. And once
Cooks is old though.
Yes, I was going to say once he retires, I'm assuming, knowing how the Cowboys function, they're probably going to draft another receiver because that's just how they roll. They love to have that high-powered offense.
They already got Jalen Tolbert, baby. I got him in the Empire League.
God.
I got him in some league.
Got him stashed up. Yeah,
he's coming back. He's coming back.
All right,
like wide receiver 3.
Yep. But the bottom line is that he's still with Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys, the good offense as far as the points goes and the passing yards and all that stuff, which is good for fantasy. And then also, we look at how Dallas uses their tight ends with who was it? Was it Dalton Schultz? Or was it? Yeah, it was Dalton Schultz, and
someone
then it was Jason
before
Witten.
That.
Yeah. So they're able to use their tight ends to a point where they could be pretty good as far as the season goes. Like they'll finish like tight end 7, tight end 8, something like that. Consistency, though, is always going to be an issue, right? Jake Ferguson's not going to be a guy that you can just plug and play, expect 15 points a week. You could definitely start him and hope for, a floor of like, I don't know, 5, 6. And there's going to be weeks where he gets you 20, which is nice, great for a tight end, but not a Travis Kelce type set and forget tight end, but definitely a guy that could finish, in that lower half, tight end 8, 9, 7-ish range. But he's definitely the guy for Dallas. He's the guy for Dallas in tight ends.
You got this question before, I think. Well, favorite player for upcoming draft? I mean, I guess you can even pick a defensive player.
I'm going to still stick with offense. Stick with the same guy. We did not cover him today because, like I said, he's not the best player, I don't think.
This is your favorite player. Yeah,
my favorite. As of right now, it could change. It's only, we're still in 2023, first of all. It's going to be the Kansas running back, Devin Neal. He's a smaller guy, but he's really good. I like him. given the cost, because he's definitely not going to be, a top 3, top 4 running back in this class, I don't think. I'll probably end up having him in some of my leagues just because, rookie 3rd-round pick or something like that with some upside. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite players. Obviously, other than the tight end, Brock Bowers, right? I can't say a tight end, right?
Everyone knows who he is, though.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers. That's it's not even a secret. You got your secret
Yeah,
tight
the
ends.
secret's out of the bag.
He's not. He's like the best college tight end ever, dang near.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows about him. But yeah, 3rd round is where I got Ramondre Stevenson in my rookie draft. So maybe
that's the whole thing. The way this whole running back thing works now in fantasy, anyone on the roster can be good. I mean, look at Raheem Mostert. He's a top 2, top 1 fantasy RB, which is crazy to think about, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we're going to end it there. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It was a fun podcast. I thought the podcast was going to be 15 minutes today total. Ended up being one of our longest podcasts. Episode 210 is all done with. It's in the bag, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man,
thank you so
210
much
was 2 hours and 10 minutes.
There we go. That's a sign.
Not
Yes. Awesome. That's right. 2 hours, 10 minutes. All right, guys. Good luck this week. Good luck in Dynasty.